Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's Chris here. Want to bring you guys just a little up close and personal video on Bitcoin here. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin on the 4 hour. So if you guys could like, subscribe, all that, it really helps the channel. I appreciate it. So what we've been having, guys, we've been having a series of higher highs and higher lows until recently. So I want to go through this with you here just so you can see. So let's start from about right here, guys. And then we had a high, then we had a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, slightly higher low. Then we had just this little move here, which was a lower high, but we had a higher low, and then we broke into a higher high. And now we saw that sell-off, guys. You see that just big dump that came? And our RSI went from about 60 or so all the way down to 26. And that's how fast it happens. It breaks. So you see this tightening pattern. Let me get some of these lines out of here for you just so you can see this. Okay, so do you see the tightening pattern here? How we were kind of going sideways? We could have either broken up for a higher high, or we could break down and break that higher low right here. And that's what happened, guys. Had sell volume come in, a big old candlestick here, and we drop back down. So what we need to do now is hold this as support, come back up, see if we can make a higher high than this. If we don't, say we get in here, we'll set a lower high, and then we need to come back down and set a higher low than what we have right here. But this has to hold. So guys, we need this to hold at 63.20, right in that range. We don't want to give this up. We got to move back up. Even if we don't get the higher high, we need to get the higher low, or the lower high, I'm sorry, and then get the higher low. I know it gets to be a mouthful, guys. I apologize. But I just wanted to show you that and how quick that RSI can dump. That's why you want to have those protective stops sometimes. I know some people are having stops around that 6,400 area, different things like that. Guys, next thing I want to look at is the Bollinger Bands, because I think that is a good indicator as well. Alright, with the Bollinger Bands, you can see we broke through the bottom here of the Bollinger Bands, and that was with pretty good volatility. That's why those bands opened up so much. Whenever they contract, you're getting ready for a break in either way. You're moving sideways, and then you'll have that expansion of that break. You see that here, how we had that expansion in that break, and we broke up? So really pay attention to that, and we broke through the middle band here that was acting as our support, fell right down through that. So a lot of guys, if you're doing it on a short time frame and you're just trying to make some money in a day, they would buy down around here at the bottom of the Bollinger Bands, then potentially sell up at the middle band, or if it can get back up through the top. Whenever you pop up through the top, most likely you're going to have that sell-off, guys. That's just what happened. See, popped through the top, we came back down. Popped up through the top barely, came back down to the middle band. Up through the top, came back down to the middle band. So just be aware of those things. I think it's something good to keep your eye out on, especially if you want to do some like short-term flipping, different stuff like that. Next, I love the MACD. It's a lagging indicator, but it is just, it's a really good one to pay attention to, in my opinion, guys. So the histogram is fully in the negative, gaining strength, and you can see how we're just wide open here, just a complete drop. So we need that to start hooking, guys, and see if we can get up through. That's going to be a really big deal. But when you start to see that bend in the MACD as it starts to come back down like that, then you had that sell-off. So just really pay attention to that, guys. Right here, looked like we were going to have that sell-off, then we hit the signal line, and we came back up, and that's that move right there. Okay, so those are just some things to keep an eye on. And what I want to do next is zoom out to the daily. Just take a look at that. Okay, guys, so our support that we really need to hold here, kind of a must, is that 57.86. Because if we drop below that, I mean, anything can happen. So that's our support, and then our resistance here. We got a lot of resistance, as you can see, around that 6,800. And what we have to do is break through. If we're going to do it, guys, we got to break through this top, that 6,800, and we need a lot of volume behind it. Okay, we don't want to just barely break through, then we come back, we could break back down through it. We want to break up through there hard, come back, test that support, and then make our next move up to that 7,800 or so. And you can see this candlestick here needs to get cleared out. That was a big drop. So in my opinion, guys, at some point here, we are going to come back up through here and kind of clear that out. Whenever you have those big drops like that, like this was a big drop, it got cleared out. And vice versa, when you have a big run on a green candlestick, it gets cleared out. You see there was a big green one, came back down, just cleared it out. And a great example of this, so you guys can see, look at that big run up where we didn't really build any support, and what happened here, we just got cleaned out. All right? And I remember Carter Thomas said this. He hasn't been around much anymore once this bear market really took effect, so I'm mishearing him. But he was talking about how when you do have these runs that go straight up, essentially, like this, how we just ran up, it's going to get cleared out. Okay, guys? So keep that in mind. And it's going to happen, you know, vice versa. When you have really hard drops, then it has to get cleared out in the other way. So we just got to be patient. We have to try to hold that support, which here's a better view of the support. So about right in there, guys. That's what we need to hold. Other than that, I mean, anything can happen over here. I don't know. I don't know if we could go down to $3,000. Anything can happen in this game, guys. So just be aware. I would really like to see us start building some momentum in July and come back up here and test that 10,000. Because if we can break through that with volume and conviction, then, you know, we can really move. And those are the things, guys. We have our overhead resistance here is right about that 10,000. Then we had our double top here at around 12,000. Then, guys, we really could run. I mean, if we can get through that. And there it is. Then let's do our macro fib on here as well. I think it's important to always look at that. And just kind of see how far we have dropped. I'm going to do the whole thing here, guys. So there's our chart. And you can see there's not a ton of history, guys. Like, we're in so very early. I mean, this was all just flatlined for so long. And then we had this bull market, which lasted, so from April till about January. And now we're seeing it get cleared back out, you know. And that's just what we have to do, guys. We got to deal with these down markets sometimes. Let's go from about right here. We'll go at the start of the run, essentially. I don't want to go all the way back to 0. But we'll just go when we started making some moves here. Okay. So, guys, we haven't come down to test the 786 yet. And like we said, that's kind of been the flavor of the year for retracement. So, you know, there is a possibility of $5,000. You know, it very well could happen. But I want to see us come back up, break through this 618. It's a really big deal. So, you guys tell me what you're doing, and let's look at this. Check out the MACD on the daily here. Okay. So we have been on top, guys. We've been in the positive. Sorry about that. Okay. So we have been in the positive. But what's happening here, we're getting that hook again. And remember, when we hook, we can come down and hit the signal line and go back up. That's a possibility. But other times we just drop right through. I mean, look at that drop. Came up and then it was just, we were underneath it for a long time, guys. And then the histogram starting to tick down a little bit. If you see this. Like that. So that's something to always pay attention to. Let's look at our daily RSI. And our daily RSI, we're at 43. So we are not at that oversold point, guys. That's why I said we could go lower. We've typically been getting a bounce about right there at 25. So there is some more room to go down. And I think if we did go down to that point on the daily, like we had been here before we got that little bit of a move, that would put us around that 786, which is down here. So, you know, guys, we have the $5,000 psychological support. is going to be one. We talked about this support here at around 5,800 or so. And then we have that 786 macro support. So you guys tell me what you're doing. Leave it down low. Are you buying, hodling, selling? What are you guys doing? So leave it down low, like, subscribe, all that. I really appreciate it, guys. And that's what we're looking at. God bless.